Hi, Eric Leikam here. Coming up on this special text talk, I got my buddy Jackson Michael, author of this book, The Game Before the Money. He and I are going to talk about 10 or so of the greatest pro football players ever to come out of Texas. I can explain this.
And now, another Like 'em, we love 'em text talk. So, this is my good friend Jackson Michael, who is not only a killer musician and music teacher, but he's also an author, football freak, wrote the book, The Game Before the Money. And what was the other thing you did with the Oilers?
Oh yeah, Red, White, and Columbia Blue. You can get that book on Amazon, and also there's a video documentary on the Love You Blue era. That's also available on Amazon DVD. That aired on Root Sports back when AT&T Sportsnet was called Root Sports, and
I remember
got
that.
together with a lot of '70s Oilers on that.
As an aside, the I didn't break up with the Oilers. The Oilers broke up with me. I grew up a long-suffering Oilers fan, and when they left for Tennessee, I didn't follow them. So it was a real short walk to go to the Saints from there. You know what I mean? And this was back when the Saints weren't any good. This is like, Billy Joe Abear and, you know, and that era.
Bobby Amer, Raising Cajun. Yeah.
Playoffs,
Well, it was
playoffs.
such a short walk that Bum Phillips and Earl Campbell and Leon Gray followed you.
Yeah.
I think there were a couple more Oilers that might have made that trip.
We actually got there at the same time Mike Ditka and Ricky Williams did, so it was a very interesting time to be in New Orleans then.
Oh yeah, yeah, I bet. I
Yeah.
bet.
So let's talk about these 10 of the greatest Texas born and bred football players that made it into the NFL. We can't really say these are the top 10 because, well, you just can't. But we can say that these are 10 of the most respected, most revered, most recognized, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I like the most revered because if we're going to cover all of football history, we got to include some names that aren't as familiar as others. But right now, probably the best and most recognizable right now is Patrick Mahomes from White House, Texas.
Certainly.
Went to I think White House High School, and yeah, and he went to Tech. I mean, that's born and bred right there. His dad played for the Rangers, I think, baseball team, and yeah, so Patrick Mahomes definitely the most visible right now. Now, back in the Houston Oilers days, it was Earl Campbell who was probably the most visible of the football players from Texas. He's
Mhm.
coming from Tyler, Texas.
Right. And then you're talking about guys like Bob Lilly and Sammy Baugh.
Well, Bob Lilly, we'll start with Bob Lilly because Bob Lilly and Joe Green are really good to talk about together because they're two of the best defensive tackles of all time. They both grew up in Texas. Joe Green growing up in Temple, ended up at North Texas. Bob Lilly, born and raised in Throckmorton, but his family had to move to Oregon in the middle of his high school years because of a drought in the 1950s.
Hmm.
Very serious drought that hit Texas. And then Bob Lilly came back and played for TCU and then was the first ever draft pick for the Dallas Cowboys. Both Joe Green and Bob Lilly, two of the greatest defensive tackles of all time. And is actually Dick Night Train Lane,
Oh,
um, who we were talking about. Dick Night Train Lane still holds the NFL record for most interceptions in a single season, set in the early 50s. So that's a 70-year-old record. Night Train Lane didn't go to college, was actually an orphan found in Austin in a trash can.
oh
It's
wow.
an incredible story. Um, his adopted mother thought she heard a cat outside, and it turns out it was Night Train.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, pretty
Unbelievable.
incredible story. Yeah, yeah.
One guy that we were talking about, somebody from my Love You Blue era, at least actually a little before, is Ken Houston.
Ken Houston, yeah, 12 consecutive Pro Bowls was a record at the time. I think it was tied for the record. Probably the greatest strong safety of all time. That's different than a free safety. Strong safeties generally cover the tight ends. That's kind of commonly their number one assignment. Ken Houston, really, first ballot Hall of Famer. Great guy. Had the record for most defensive touchdowns in a season, tied with Eric Allen, I believe, for quite a while. And yeah, he actually had 2 interception returns in the same quarter. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Ken Houston. Yeah. Fantastic player. Offense, defense, special teams, great kick returner. Was traded for, I can't remember the number off the top of my head, 5 or 6 players to Washington.
Wow.
In a trade that the Oilers still regret. I mean, he could have played on those lovely blue Oilers at the end of his career.
And they're still regretting the trade. That's funny as hell.
I think they still are. I think even the Titans are regretting that one.
Jackson, what do you think it is about Texas that makes it such a factory for great football players?
Yeah, I would say the size of the state definitely comes into play because it's the size of multiple states. So that's part of it, but also the culture of football in the state dating back to even the turn of the century. I mean, it's always been a huge deal. It's always been a big deal with families too. Like Michael Strahan, who was one guy I mentioned on the list. His uncle Art played college football at Texas Southern. Also, that's how Michael wound up at Texas Southern University. So there's a lot of family in football, a lot of great families. Raymond Berry, who's another guy that I think we got to mention in here. His dad was a high school football coach. Ty Detmer, who won the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
His dad, legendary high school coach. So it just runs in the culture here.
Can't let you go without talking about Eric Dickerson.
Yeah, Eric Dickerson. His uncles played at Prairie View A&M back in the day and were tremendous running backs. Probably would have been college superstars had it been another time in history. Eric Dickerson, guys I've talked to who have played, they have said that Eric Dickerson is the best running back they played against. Scouts I've talked to, they've rated Eric Dickerson number one, also behind Jim Brown. And the other guy we really got to bring in is Sammy Baugh, because he's the precursor to all of this. Yeah, Sammy's really the trailblazer, coming out of TCU in the 1930s. And he helped revolutionize the passing game in the NFL. He retired as the NFL's all-time leading passer, but he also led the NFL in interceptions as a defensive back, as a two-way player, and as a punter. Even though he played in the 1930s, he still held the most yards per punt average. He held the NFL record for that into the 2000s. So that's Sammy Baugh. He inspired a lot of great players to play in the state of Texas. And so did Doak Walker, who was kind of the next generation after him. Doak Walker at SMU and later a Hall of Famer for the Detroit Lions.
Jackson, thank you so much for your time today. And thank you for your friendship and continue good luck and success and everything, man. We love you.
Yeah, back at you, Eric. Love you back, and yeah, always glad to see you and to have some sort of fun conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get together and jam sometime.
Yeah, I'm all for it. Tell me what instrument, I'll show up with it.
Me too, man. Peace out, brother. I love you.
All right. Yeah, peace.
Like 'em, we love 'em.